Cheers and greetings, beloved. This is the Divine Feminine, learning how to not be codependent and trust her energy. Now, with this great Divine Feminine awakening, the Divine Feminine is rising internal wisdom and power. And it's breaking all of these old agreements, these past patterns where women were taught to be codependent, depending on men, on the masculine for his decision. The financial structures where there was the little woman in the kitchen, she had to stay home. Those rules have been broken over time with the women's lib movement. And as women have been rising in their spiritual sovereignty, and as the divine feminine in the men has been rising, everything is crumbling. It's like, who are we now? The codependent chaos that we have been embedded into, that looks like the perfect structure to have stability, is actually an illusion, and the feminine is realizing it now. She fell for the biggest trick in the book, which is that she gave away her power so that she could have power. The good news is the divine feminine is standing in her power, and she's learning to trust herself on the deepest, most spiritual level, knowing that she creates her own reality. I wanted to give you this story about a very codependent to divinely creative, risen, resurrected high priestess. There was a woman who graduated from the top of her class, went to an elite private university, and sought to have the perfect body. She sought to have the perfect group of friends, the perfect life, and she worked her way up and up and up the ladder, working for multinational companies. She had on the outside perfect life with a gorgeous Italian man. He was a few years older, an engineer, had a good job, and inside she was miserable. And she didn't know what she wanted to do. She ended up giving all of her power away and came back penniless, heartbroken. And it took her many, many years to move forward in her life. And when she finally had her divine feminine awakening, she erased all of that, all of the beliefs. And actually today, she's more in love with herself than she's ever been. And she runs her company from her pleasure. She works when she wants to work. She doesn't work when she doesn't want to work. She runs multiple six-figure business with her now husband. Now, this is my story. And I share it with you not to brag, but because I was that woman who made every decision based on what I thought my partner wanted from me, what I thought the world wanted from me. And I was so enslaved by the matrix. I was climbing the corporate ladder. I was climbing the university ladder. And when I left to become an entrepreneur, I was climbing my own ladder of the disease in my head of what I thought I should be. The great news is the divine feminine is rising. She's standing in her power, and she's not going to take anything less but the best, if she remembers who she is. So the key here is for us in the chaos of, I don't know what my next step is. I don't know if my twin flame is coming. I don't know if this is the right one. I don't know if this job, this path, this career, I don't know if I can do it. My dreams, are they crazy? Am I crazy to even be believing in any of this woo-woo stuff? All of these thoughts and feelings can be just brushed aside for a moment. We can come back into the true divine feminine essence. Now, how do we do that? One, embodiment practices, really taking the time to breathe, to meditate, to do our yoga, to work with our embodiment coaches. Two is to spend time out in nature. It is such a simple medicine, but it's the most powerful way. If you want to rapid activate your divine feminine, is to spend time in nature. She has all the lessons and codes for you. Three is to step into sisterhood, because the mirrors of high vibrational sisters on the same path as you, and sisters, I don't mean biological, I mean soul family, feminine energy. It could also be brothers, but especially for women to have the mirrors of nourishment, love, a collective agreement that we've got this, we can heal, we can let go of those old codependent patterns and blocks, and we can tune in to trust ourselves. Now, there's so many other ways of activating our feminine energy so that we can clear codependence and step into trust. But the divine feminine is the medicine, because when we tap in, we become highly intuitive. We become highly sensitive. So our intuition is like, it's super strong. We know what our feelings are. Those feelings, we can direct them. We also need to become master light workers, healers, ninjas of our own psychologies, so we're not up and down and going crazy with the moon and the astrology. but we can see the waves and we can ride generally rather gently. I know when I was in my codependent patterns, I was up and down like insanely. Like it was so intense just to get through a moon cycle. And it was sometimes like I felt amazing, beautiful, and sometimes I felt like the ugliest, dumbest, fattest, most stupid, unworthy person. And I was constantly at war within myself with these two sides. I can be amazing, I am amazing, I can be amazing, and there's no point in trying. You suck. You suck. You're a woman, you're not even a real woman, you're trash. All of these things. Now, a lot of this comes from early childhood. It also comes from, I would say, some kind of mind control program from the elite media, the dark media that has had an agenda to disempower humanity. So it splits the sexes. It says one is good at this, one is not good at this. And then we become conquered and divided because we cannot stand in our unity. And then we have the divorces, the dysfunction, the cheating, the lying, the drinking, the gambling, etc., etc. Society has become this traditional broken matrix, but we can step out of the matrix and we can create from our own feminine. Now, when we trust ourselves, what does it feel like? How do we know we're trusting ourselves? How do we know we're right? Well, you listen to your body. It feels amazing when you're listening to your body. So can you take deep breaths? Breaths help us breathe into the body, and oxygen is like the template. It's like the feeder for our intuition. Learning how to channel into our body, including into our womb spaces. The Chinese would call it dantian, Japanese hara, sacral or second chakra in the chakra system. And even in the Western medical system, we're calling it PVC muscles or TVA muscles. I'm working with a mentor right now to help me have better posture, and we're working a lot in this whole kind of internal abdominal area, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm just going back to being pregnant again and feeling life coming into my womb again. It's like, whoa, embodiment is so, so important and so powerful. So if you haven't worked in that realm, I encourage you to dip in and play, not just to do the power poses in your yoga practice or be running in the forest at lightning speed to try and lose the weight. That is a disempowering program. We reprogram back into the feminine by really feeling into what feels good. What nourishes you, like warm tea with a little bit of rose petals and cinnamon and cacao and stevia, which is what I'm drinking now. By the way, I have this giant Band-Aid on my hand because I was bit by a crocodile fish yesterday. I didn't know that even existed in my neighbor's yard, and I was pointing to a fish, and I'd seen that fish many, many times, but I was like, oh, I see it's in the dark, and it bit my hand and I was bleeding, gushing blood everywhere. And I feel like I should tell this story right now because basically the feminine is really slow. There's a slow fish, and the fish is actually a symbol of the ancient Christian feminine Christ energy, the Sophia, the Yoni, the Friday, the Venus energy. The fifth Fish Friday day was traditionally a symbol of the Yoni, the fish, Venus. Anyways, I digress. So this fish, this soft feminine looking fish, springs upon me, and what it taught me is that the instincts in this fish were so sharp that she or he could sit there not moving all day long, and when she wants to eat, like that crocodile, just gets what she wants. So the feminine is incredibly powerful, and she needs a lot of nourishment, a lot of slowing down, a lot of rest, a lot of being in the waters, being in the darkness, feeling our fears, feelings. The water represents feelings and fears, and it's okay to feel those things, because the other aspect of the feminine, besides water, which does represent the feminine actually embodies love, the sacred love codes through the matrix. Divine masculine is going to represent the masculine energy of consciousness, light, protection. Light is knowledge. The feminine is wisdom. It's the watery womb. It's the sacral chakra, the feelings. The masculine is going to be the more solar energies connecting to our cosmic crown. So it's not about, is it Christ? Is it Sophia? Is it masculine? Is it feminine? It's about coming to the heart. And when we trust ourselves, we turn on. When we trust ourselves in the womb, we turn on our whole chakra system, and we have to lead from our hearts. There's a relationship with all the chakras. So I wasn't following my heart when I was that 20-something person following a man. I was kind of following my heart. I mean, he was a good-looking Italian engineer. He had a good job. Nice, tall, dark, and handsome package, right? But I wasn't truly following my heart of like, what do I want? Was he able to hold space for my emotions? Were we both working on our stuff? I would ask him, will you go to therapy? Let's go to therapy together. He didn't want to go. So I ended up isolating and meditating and crying alone. And when I would come to him and say, like, let's feel, let's emote, he's like, you're too much. I'm not into that. And he went out and drank and partied with his friends. And we started to have this gap that was wider and wider. And it became longer and longer before, I was like, we're not even intimate anymore. I've got to go. But he didn't want to let me go. And I was scared to let him go. So it took me an extra half a year to even break up, come back and start my life again. So for women who have completely gotten lost in a relationship that they thought was gonna give them more power, and you leave it finding yourself feeling hopeless, powerless, but hopeful enough that you can restart, just know that you can absolutely start again. You can start even brighter and bigger, and there is a recovery period, an awakening process, a death and rebirth. But I am so grateful for the strength and the power that I've cultivated, and that allowed me to meet, marry, and mate with my twin flame, Jack. We have a beautiful daughter together. And I wanted to celebrate this last weekend. I spent my first weekend away from them. We breastfed until 2.5, and my daughter was not wanting me to leave at night. She said, don't go, mommy, don't go. But she was totally fine. And so I'm just super excited to celebrate those beliefs where we're afraid, like, I don't know if I can separate. Even my daughter, don't go, mommy. I was like, how did she do? Jack was like, she didn't cry at all. She was super fine. She was so happy. So for that little girl in us, or little child in us who's scared to claim her or his power and rise to the occasion, just know that you absolutely can do it. You have the whole universe inside of you waiting to rise, all of the ingredients. You get to choose it. So take rapid, massive action to love yourself, to embody yourself, and to take the time every day to really connect within that deep, feminine, juicy space of your own inner knowing, the stillness, the water. If you are ready to call in your life partner, your beloved, I wanted to announce that we are doing a Twin Flames Live. It is part of a 3-day immersion series, so 3 separate days. We have one coming up. I gotta say that I'm going through my next level, Divine Feminine, and it's showing up in my work, and I just feel so turned on and ready to deliver a new way of feminine embodiment through the Twin Flame Alchemy work that has helped thousands of clients and fans from around the world to heal themselves and call in their twin flames. So if you're interested in Twin Flames Live, check it out. I'm going to put a coupon code below to make it a super duper deal for you. We're only offering this until the 23rd this month. So the September 23rd equinox, because it's a special date of twin flame unity between the winter and the summer, representing you aligning with your twin flame. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for joining me. I will be chatting with you soon. Namaste. Namaskar.